On January 26th of this year, I announced a quilt challenge using the Snowflake Quilt pattern. For those of you who have already started your quilt and who are working hard at getting that completed, be sure to tell me in the comments below how you're progressing. Some of you may already be done, because I know there are some quilters out there who just are major go-getters. So again, don't forget to tell me in the comments below how you're progressing with this quilt challenge. If you would like to join this quilt challenge, you still have plenty of time. Fallon from Be It Quilts and Chris from Sew the Distance are joining me in this quilt challenge. I have worked with Chris and Fallon before on a quilt challenge, and we had lots of fun. So if you're interested, be sure to check out their channels. Chris does a really neat series on her channel that I really like. It's called Lessons from an Old Quilt, and I love watching that series that she offers on her YouTube channel, so be sure to check out her channel. And Fallon and her husband, and I think their kids may help, they sell several different quilt notions that they manufacture, and those are really neat. So be sure to check out their sites in the description, their sites and links in the description below. Hello everyone, this is Michelle Fox and welcome to The Simple Quilter. In this video, I am going to be giving you a brief overview of the Snowflake Quilt Challenge. I'll be giving you an update of how I'm progressing on my quilt, and I will be sharing a few tips if you're interested in joining this challenge. This is a very simple challenge. All you have to do is get your pattern and sew at home and post some updates as you're sewing. Those who have been quilting along in this quilt challenge have the opportunity to post their progress and share that in the comments below. Basically, I have invited quilt friends, specifically 3 quilt friends that I quilt with most frequently, and all of my viewers to join this quilt challenge, as well as Chris and Fallon. There are no prizes. The prize is just having fun sewing this quilt with others and being able to enjoy it during the holidays. The reveal is set for November 6th. So these quilts should be ready for us to enjoy during the holidays. This pattern is available in the link below. It's not an affiliate link. It's just the link where I was able to get the pattern from. And then also you can check your local quilt shops to see if they have this pattern. When I first saw this pattern, I knew I had to make this quilt. I don't buy very many patterns, but I really like this. In the shop that I purchased this one from, it had a sample of one of the quilts made up, and I just thought that was so neat. So this pattern offers 3 options for your quilt. You can do a solid color, you can do one with 4 colors, or you can do one with scrappy, and instructions are provided for all of those options. The company's not paying me to say anything about their pattern. They probably don't even know who I am. But I will tell you that I think this is a great pattern. This is a beginner level of pattern, but it didn't really matter what level it was to me because I simply wanted to make this quilt. Again, the reveal is set for November 6th, and you'll have the opportunity to share your progress or how your quilt turned out in the comments of that video. You'll also be able to post a picture of your video on my Facebook page or group called the Simple Quilters Community Showcase. This quilt challenge, I will not be doing a sew along simply because this is not my pattern, but you'll have opportunities to update me on your progress and again post pictures of your completed project on my Facebook group. One great thing I like about this pattern is that it provides a color sheet for you to print off on your computer. It gives you a link and you can go to that, print it off, and print out a color sheet. The layout that I've selected is not included in one of these 3 options. So I had to do a few calculations on my own for fabric, as well as I used the color sheet to graph out my design. That was just such a helpful bonus piece for the quilt. I also printed out the color cutting quilt tags that you can cut up and use to mark the pieces as you cut them. I really like that feature too. I just really like this pattern. I can't say enough good things about it. And again, it is just a beginner level, but I think it's going to be great for the holidays. And because it's a snowflake, we'll be able to leave them out clear past December into January, maybe even February. My fabrics are all washed, starched, and pressed, and I have started cutting my fabrics. I'll be able to do some strip piecing and subcut those into strip sets. So I think that my layout is going to go together pretty quickly once I get all the fabric pieces cut. I have been communicating with Chris and Fallon, and they're both coming along nicely on their quilts. My 3 quilt friends that I've invited, they're coming along nicely on theirs. In fact, one of them has already started sewing hers together. I have to say, one of my quilt friends has not started yet, but just keep in mind, just like her, you will have plenty of time to join in and still finish your quilt. So tip number 1, you can find the quilt pattern at your local quilt shop. If you can't find it there, be sure to look at the site listed in the description. Again, that is not an affiliate link, that's just where you can locate the pattern. The second tip, if you're wanting to join this challenge, is to be sure to go to Pinterest and look for Snowflake Quilts and look at all the different options for color selection and pattern layouts. There are a lot of other layouts that can be used to make this quilt, so be sure to check those out. You can also go to my Facebook group called the Simple Quilters Community Showcase, and if you scroll way down, you'll be able to see 3 or 4 quilts that some of my viewers posted when I first mentioned the challenge, because they had already completed this quilt. So be sure to check out those places if you're just getting started making the quilt. Be sure to read the pattern carefully before you begin, and be sure to print out the additional resources for the tags as well as the color sheet if you need those to help you. The pattern does call for some half square triangles, and it shows you one method of making half square triangles, but remember there are lots of methods for making half square triangles, and if you could use triangle papers, or you could use a half square triangle ruler. So just keep that in mind. There are faster ways to do it than the way they suggested, or you can do it the way they suggested. Just use your favorite method and be sure that it turns out to be the correct size. The next tip I wanted to share with you is that you can easily make this quilt bigger if you would like to make it bigger. Now the snowflake on the front will need to stay the same size, but you can easily add rows here, on this side, and across the bottom. And as you will know, you can always add a border to any quilt to help make it a little bit bigger. If you've decided to join me and haven't told me that already, please be sure to tell me that in the comments below. Again, this is going to be a fun, easy pattern to use, and a fun quilt to use and display, especially during the holidays. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and until next time, have fun quilting.